This is Marilyn Lohman, Service Hydrologist at WFO Pendleton. I'll be showing some slides of the current snowpack conditions and expected water supply for the rest of spring and summer. Measurements of snow water equivalent, or the amount of water being held in the snowpack, were taken on May 1st for the various basins across the state of Washington. From this map, produced by the Natural Resource Conservation Service, snow amounts have decreased due to the warm and dry conditions in April, and range from near 70% of normal in the upper Yakima Basin to near 90% of normal in the lower Yakima. In southeast Washington, amounts were near 60% of normal. We'll look at some individual stations within these areas. These charts show the snow water equivalent, or water held in the snow, for the water year October through September. The blue line is the maximum observed, while the red line is the minimum. Green line is average. Using these charts, we can see how the water equivalent accumulated throughout the winter and through spring and compare it to average. The Touchet Snotel site is in the Walla Basin around 5,500 feet. Looking at the black line, we can see that this site has decreased rapidly with most of the snow depleted. This is about a month ahead of normal. The Sasse Ridge Snotel site is located in the upper Yakima Basin at 4,200 feet. Looking at the black line, other than a storm in mid-April, this site has been decreasing steadily and should melt out by about June 1st, or about a month ahead of normal. The Bumping Ridge Snotel site, elevation 4,600 feet, is in the central Washington Cascades. Looking at the black line, this site has also been decreasing steadily throughout April. The decrease has come about a half a month earlier than normal. Across Oregon, looking at the snow water equivalent map from the NRCS, as of May 1st, a large amount of the snowpack has melted, leaving only 70% of normal in the Cascades and Walla County mountains. Most all but the highest elevation snow is gone from the Grande Basin, and less than 60% of normal snowpack remains in the Umatilla Basin. We'll take a look at some individual sites across the region in the next several slides. In the lower Deschutes Columbia Basin area, Clear Lake Snotel at an elevation of 3,500 feet. Looking at the black line, the current year observation, this low elevation site saw the snow gone by mid-April, about a month and a half earlier than normal. A higher elevation site from the Cascades, the Mount Hood site, is at 5,400 feet. It saw some decrease in the snowpack and is currently near amounts normally seen in the mid part of June. In the upper Deschutes Basin, the Three Creek Meadows Snotel site is at about 5,600 feet. Looking at the solid black line, we can see that this site melted quickly during most of April. This melt occurred about a month ahead of normal. For the Grande Basin, we can look at the Blue Mountain Springs site at 5,900 feet. With the warm and dry conditions during April, the snow at this site melted rapidly and slightly over 1 month ahead of normal. For the Umatilla Basin in the Blue Mountains, we can look at the High Ridge site at 4,900 feet. Looking at the black line, we can see that this site saw most of its snowpack melt during the month of April. This is about a month ahead of normal for this location. And in the Ronde Basin, the Moss Springs Snotel site at 5,800 feet. Looking at the black line, this site saw strong melting during the month of April, but remains near normal, but about a half a month ahead of schedule on melting. The Northwest River Forecast Center uses Ensemble Streamflow Prediction, or ESP, generated forecasts as the official water supply method. The 30-year runoff normals covering the years 1981 to 2010 are being used. New forecasts will be published on the Northwest River Forecast Center's website daily. For those updated forecasts and more information on ESP forecasts, please see the River Forecast Center's website at the address given. This map from the Northwest River Forecast Center shows a snapshot of the water supply forecast for the coming year. Due to the warm and dry April, most of the forecasts have decreased. We can see that most of Northeast Oregon is expected to see 50 to 75% of normal water supply, with a few locations seeing near normal to slightly above normal. In Washington, most locations continue to have forecasts of 90 to 125% of normal water supply. We'll look at several stations within the area for a little more detail. For the Yakima River, we'll look at the Yakima River near Parker. Looking at the plot, the solid green line is the 30-year normal. The box plots show the entire range of forecast values, with the blue dot the 50th percentile, or most likely value. We'll use that 50th percentile and compare it to normal. The volume forecast for the Yakima River near Parker for the period April through September is still expected to be slightly above normal at about 110% of normal. The forecasted volume of water, the blue dot, for the Grande River near Troy has fallen some through the month of April and is expected to be below normal at 79% of normal. These forecasts take into account the forecasted precipitation for the next 10 days and then normal precipitation through the rest of the period. For the Umatilla River at Pendleton for the period April through September, the volume forecast has decreased steadily throughout the month of April and is now expected to be near 50% of normal. This drop in the forecast is due to the dry and warm conditions seen during April. Once again, the forecast takes into account normal precipitation expected to occur throughout the rest of the period. The Columbia River at the Dalles can be an indicator for the entire Columbia Basin. The average value is plotted in green, with the most likely value the blue dot. The volume for the April through September period remains right at normal. The previous seen plots and additional water supply locations are available in an interactive form on the Northwest River Forecast Center's website at the address listed. The 3-month outlook for the Climate Prediction Center for May, June, and July calls for above normal temperatures and equal chances of above normal, normal, or below normal precipitation. The latest drought monitor shows the D0 abnormally dry conditions over most of eastern Oregon, with D1 moderate drought over southeast Oregon. Over Washington, there are some areas of abnormally dry conditions in the southeast portion of the state. Precipitation, soil moisture, pasture and forest conditions, water supply, and other impacts from the drought are assessed weekly for both short and long-term drought conditions. For more information on the unseasonably dry and drought conditions both here in the Northwest and across the country, please visit the National Integrated Drought Information System at the webpage listed in the address. You can view the drought monitor, look at current and forecast conditions, as well as impacts from the drought and resources relating to drought. This will be our last briefing for the current season, but I hope you join me again in December for an update on the snowpack and expected water supply for 2017. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please contact me by email or phone listed. Thank you.